Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome again to another Talk Architecture podcast with your hosts, Naziaty Muhammad Yaacob. This is the seventh episode in the 7-part series on the topic of why are design drawings getting worse, explained by architects, engineers, and construction professionals by Igor Goryachev. The last topic or subtopic is entitled Just Get It Done Mentality. Now, this is also a concluding topic, and I will also be discussing about the conclusion from this article. You can click on the link below for the said article. I'm going to read the article, the passages for this subtopic, Just Get It Done Mentality, and then I'm going to go into who needs to change and some recommendation from the author, and then I'm going to comment on these. So please refer to the different episodes that has been published before you in this Talk Architecture podcast for you to understand more on the other topics, subtopics that has been presented to you. Number 7, just get it done mentality. The industry is increasingly leaning toward a just make it work perspective. Oh, there's a big statement there. Where teams are forced to deliver projects without having nailed down all of the details. Whoa. Details is everything. The devil is in the detail. He continues, unfortunately, this results in incomplete drawings being rushed out the door to meet deadlines, followed by endless RFIs from the field. Instead of thorough coordinated models, we're left with drawings that require additional clarification on site, slowing down progress and adding costs. Understandably, there is a rush to deliver, but when those crucial little details get left by the wayside, it costs more later on. There's a lot of things to do with costs here. Twice it's been mentioned. Many in the industry argue that projects would run smoother and go easier if the teams would just put in more time to get things right at the design phase. Now, specifically talking about design office, and later is rushed through the construction office, or the site office. So that's a quote by an architect and interior designer from Russia. The just get it done mindset leads to mistakes and delays because essential details are ignored. The rush to finish ends up costing more time and money. It's specific to the rush to finish. What happens? There are a scheduling of the different phases, and we know about last minute, we know about the rush at the end. So the rush specifically here is to do with rushing at the design phase, meaning at the design office to go to the site and having to rectify on site. In fact, this topic has been discussed quite a lot actually in the earlier episodes. The issues that you need to clarify or correct the drawings after it's been issued on the site. Because that's the phase, that's how it works in architecture practice on projects. The design office come out with the drawings, and of course those previous issues were regarding speed versus quality, over-reliance on automation and BIM tool, loss of practical skills and hands-on knowledge. We actually went to talk about architecture education, but this one is specifically to do with practice. I would concentrate this topic to do with practice itself. Now, costs. Somebody is not monitoring the drawings at the design phase. The person who's receiving it at the site, and the quotation is this person, means that they're so unsatisfied with what is given to them, and there are a lot of mistakes, and the essential details are ignored. What are the essential details? Dimensions, specifications. I mean, what could be the essential details that could be making those delays and ends up costing more time and money? So people are going to check those drawings, and then they say, oh, we don't have this information. They were going to instruct the contractor to do the work now. Oh my God, there is no specification, no dimensions. I mean, how do you do the work? I mean, there's also the drawings, and you have specific, you can even make a decision to the contractor to do shop drawings or come up with a mock-up model, or come up with the not mock-up model, but yeah, some people call that, but the real thing, but a representation of it being constructed at a factory, for example. You can even do that. So what is happening at the design office? So either people are not doing their job and thinking that that is fine and that is good enough, or they're leaving it to the site office people to receive the drawings and just accept that and make the decision at the site, which is really bad, isn't it? So there is some sort of, it could be something to do with so many factors. One is the design office people rushed it because they think that it's satisfactory, or it wasn't being checked by the associate, or that in certain companies that I work with, the associate would make sure that all is being done well, all the drawings are sorted out well before it goes to the site, but that's not the case here. There is no continuity between the office, the design office, and the site work. So I'm going to go into the summary, and this gives us an idea about the whole topic, the umbrella topic about design drawings, because actually at the end of the day, it's about drawings and what's happening in the profession. Why are design drawings getting worse? So these seemingly are the subtopics that gives the reason why design drawings are getting worse. So with number 7, just get it done. So there is an acceptance of something to just get it done, which appears to be that it is a complete package, but when you come down to it, the essential details are not there. So getting it done, even in a poor manner, is a rush-up job, which is regrettably unacceptable. So somebody has to pay for this. And at the end of the day, it's the boss of the design office who's in charge at headquarters of that company, not the one on the site that is responsible. Heads are going to roll with this. Okay, what needs to change? This is a summary of the article as a whole. It is clear that the quality of construction drawings is being impacted by a mix of factors: overdependence on automation, loss of practical knowledge, budget pressures, and the unique challenges of global teams. These issues can make it tough for construction teams to work efficiently, and ultimately they impact the end quality of projects. More investment in training by the industry, realistic timelines, and a higher emphasis on communication and mentorship will do a lot of good if we want to improve. This is the recommendation, more investment in training by the industry. Okay, realistic timelines and a higher emphasis on communication and mentorship. This is what's suggested by the author after highlighting all the problems. By addressing these challenges head on, we can bring back the quality and precision that used to be the standard in construction documentation. What the author is saying is that based on his research, there were quality before. So we're trying to bring back the quality. So those things that they suggest will bring back the quality and precision that used to be a standard in construction documentation. So those suggestions are those 4 things or 3 things. More investment in training by the industry, talking about education, but a lifelong education of the architectural student becoming a graduate and into the industry itself. And there's also been told in the article suggesting about, and also those people commenting in the previous articles, and I'm just going down to see much more likes and what the comments were. I'm not going to repeat myself, and this could be the interesting part, and we can go back to it. From a construction executive, Matt Smith, definitely not the only reason, but what I see is, number 1, design team not provide adequate time to fully develop drawings. Number 2, not enough early input from builder for constructability reviews. The builder needs to be involved as well here, of course. 3, very little or no building experience by CAD users, designers, and too many cookbook copy and paste details. Number 4, push for getting to permit review early because permit process takes way too long in municipalities. Now that got 28 likes. So this is an important point where people agree, and quite a number here agree. Exactly, and often the client does not possess the ability to articulate what they actually want, need until they see what they don't want, says Brian Carson. Lindsay Remley, nailed it. As one of the final components in these spaces, it has become increasingly difficult. Everyone wants high design, but often it's overlooked just how much time and money that requires. So again, the issue of value. The value of time and how we need to take time to get good quality work done. So when we start thinking about what Matt Smith is saying, and in relation to training by the industry, when people are in a design team, they're actually receiving or doing a project that is new. It's a different client, a different site, different brief, and they need to actually absorb what is needed with the client's brief, and sometimes there's not enough information in that. And they need to get more right quickly than information. They need to get it right by having the right information for the design brief earlier on. And then you can develop the drawings. So when Matt Smith says design team not provided adequate time to fully develop drawings. So when you talk about realistic timelines, it was suggested by the author earlier. Why is that not a realistic timeline? Why is it that it needs 2 months, but it's only be given 1 month? And there needs to be feedback, says Matt Smith, reviews by the those who is constructing it, the builder. Not enough early input from them. because they're going to build it. And if they don't understand or it is not clear, the instructions and the specification and information that they receive, then you just do it because you need to construct. So go on. It is, if the builder is someone who, okay, we'll just do it. If the builder is some more precise and more consistent and wanting to get it clear so that they can do a good job, they are concerned if they don't get the right instruction, they will not do a good job, then that's why Matt Smith is saying not enough early input. And then through the reflection of very little to no building experience by CAD users and designers with copy and paste details. Different projects have different contexts or need. So when you copy paste from the older projects, it may not be solving the design problem specific to the new project. So this is a frustration, or this is a complaint that Matt has mentioned. And of course, push for getting permit with the local authorities or the municipalities. And because those processes take way too long, people would, just say it takes about 3 months to get it approved. They would push it earlier, the timeline or maybe the deadlines, because they don't want the bigger costs of the project later and the problems with getting it completed because from the bank loan and so on. So I guess that we are getting more information from the commenters of this article previously, and also regarding remote work that we found earlier. This is interesting. That they're mentioning about CAD and Revit, and everything is being blamed is the software itself from some of the commenters. So I would actually want to say something to make a conclusion about this. Of course, we have the suggestion of the training by the industry, realistic timelines, and a higher emphasis on communication and mentorship. And we have more comments from the commenters on why are design drawings getting worse. And I have my own comments as well, talking about there is a continuity between architecture education and practice. Architecture is a profession that you're constantly learning new things on the job. Technology is coming fast, and the expectation with regard to artificial intelligence or the use of softwares and technology, which the only issue at the moment is to do with the automation and the reliance on the tools such as BIM and not doing design using hand drawings, but relying on the software to resolve a lot of things, and 3D modeling being accepted but not articulated enough to the construction drawings that is needed. So there's always the same issues being raised again and again and again. And the attitudes or the perception of what architecture is by fresh graduates and people new to the industry and what is deemed to be the standard is getting to be more obscure and more not meeting the expectations of the construction industry, because the construction industry demand that amount of detail, that amount of work and thought process, that precision of the construction. And there are checks and double checks also made by the local authorities. By the end of the day, the local authority may say that the submitting professionals are, needing to have self-checks. And at the end of the day, you have construction buildings being erected, which could fall apart, or there could be some flaws or problems in which the owner could be sued. So there's a lot of case of how people cover themselves up in the profession, and it is becoming more and more risky for the construction industry. There are other factors in play with regard to finances and other things, which makes it a cat and mouse situation, or a chicken and egg situation. Where does it start? Is it, to do with the architects, is it to do with the developer, to do with the government or the municipalities? Which one is at fault? And it is a disservice to the construction industry anyway. It is a disservice to the architecture and engineering professions, that this is a cat and mouse, or this is a chicken and egg situation. And but market demands are market demands, and finances and all those pressures of a project to be viable and constructed during the deadline that is stipulated and contracts that were made is something that you have the lawyers coming in, you have the claims and counterclaims coming in. Developers are also pressured into getting it right on time to give to the buyers who would also claim in tribunals if it is not completed in time. So it's all a huge pressure cooker of this is the situation that people in the industry faces all the time. So architects is right in the middle of it in terms of the design and getting the construction team together, the consultant team together, and getting to the final part of the work, and getting it built and satisfy the client. So it is no joke that the architecture profession needs to get it right from the very beginning, and architecture professionals know how to do and control and develop, learn new skills and knowledge as they go along, because it is a lifelong learning. So with that, I'd like to stop here, and it's just a commentary on this article, and hoping that we learn more from this as a result of reading this article, putting in my 2 cents, putting in my commentaries, so that we can all think together and how we could get the architecture profession up to speed in terms of helping us to understand the situation in our countries, in our own specific localities, and problems that arise from the practicing in those places. So thank you very much for listening. Take care and have a good evening, morning, or afternoon, wherever you are. Thank you again.